here with Jon Robichaud today from iKor Labs, and we're going to learn some more about his products and see what else is on his mind. Good to have you here, Jon.
Thanks for having me.
So, what was your motivation behind creating your product?
I think ultimately, with the business partners that we have, the main focus was to give users the benefit of CBD and really focusing the benefits towards the athletic market because it was primarily general health and wellness. And for us to really cater to the athletes, having been athletes all of our lives, it was something that we saw a need for.
Okay. Yeah, so my mom and brother swear by CBD oil, and but they said it's kind of a crapshoot because it doesn't work sometimes. What kind of quality control measures do you use to maintain its effectiveness?
So for us and for like your folks and family members, if they find that they're not getting the benefit out of a CBD product, it could be the efficacy of the oil that's being extracted. It might not have the exact amount of CBD that's on the label. So if you're looking to purchase some, you should always ask for a third-party lab test, which verifies the CBD concentration of what's in the bottle. The other thing is to look at bioavailability, which is the fancy word for how much you're going to absorb for that product. So generally, if you're consuming straight oil, you're going to receive 15, maybe 20% of what's going to be in that dose because oil and water don't mix. And for our products, we take everything and put them in a liposomal encapsulation, which is, to dumb it down, a fat cell.
Make it water
And
soluble?
no, water soluble is completely different because water soluble is actually going to be within water. And then when you use a liposome, it's a fat cell, so it's a carrier for oil, and your body recognizes that much quicker. So you'll go ahead and absorb 80 to 90% of a liposomal product.
Now, you haven't gone through any FDA trials. Have you done through any other laboratory testing or trials of some other sorts?
We've actually done a scientific research on our recovery shot to validate the use benefits for the end user and how we feel like it should be intended. The other products we have, like the topical, has not gone through any FDA trials, and there currently aren't any standards by the FDA and guidance regarding the supplement of a topical or a standard dietary supplement like CBD oil. So
Now, how are you, where are you getting your CBD oil from?
we source all of our products from Colorado. So we use Colorado growers, and then we have a extractor manufacturing partner in Fort Collins and here just outside of Boulder that we use to get our oil. And then we'll take all of our other ingredients and mix it together.
Okay. So, from what I know, will a pro athlete or any amateurs have any issues with drug testing?
I can't speak for other brands. I can say for us that we do our best to ensure that there's zero amounts of THC or undetectable amounts per WADA USADA guidance. And for our pro athletes and for those that request it, we happily provide them with a medical grade at home urine test cup so that they can look at the end result after peeing in a cup, essentially. Also, the THC levels that we have on our products are listed on our website, which is 0. So every time we get a third-party lab result, we'll go ahead and put that same batch, the correlating batch test with that batch of product on the website.
Okay. How much is too much?
Currently, there's been a couple studies in too much CBD is roughly around 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams per day. And if you think about those quantities in common sense terms, it's a lot of oil that you're consuming. So what occurs is loose stool or diarrhea. And not knowing your age or some of your readers' age, if you think of Olestra and like the potato chip craze that came along and it was like zero fat or like they wouldn't stick to you, essentially what is happening is the oil just has to go through you. You can't absorb that much oil. So that's one of the major side effects if you have too much CBD oil. It's like drinking olive oil all day long. Why would you do it?
I'm Italian. I do it anyway.
I mean, it's great with bread. Trust me. Like I
Yeah.
like to indulge myself. Really good olive oil, not just run of the mill olive oil.
I've been to Italian restaurants where you're basically testing out different types of olive oil. So,
Yeah, it's like
uh,
going to a good coffee roaster.
yeah, yeah. So, how much faster can I expect my recovery time to be versus, I don't want to say placebo, but versus nothing?
Hmm. Depends on what your use case you want it to be. So, and your physiological makeup, and the fact that we might be similar in age, but my body can process CBD better than yours because I already have more CBD receptors in my body than you do. So, if you look at CBD as a whole, I tell people it's what you're consuming is off, it's increasing your deficiency. So no different than vitamin C and iron and vitamin B12. You might take a supplement to get you to that homeostasis, that middle ground of where you need to be. If you take too much of it, you'll urinate out the rest. Same exact concept for CBD. So based on how you feel and your dosage levels will affect on how you recover. Regarding the recovery shot, if you're going to do a hard brick workout or a fartlek, or just a long bike ride one day, and you know that you're going to be not trash, but you'll feel sore and a little sluggish the next day, if you had a recovery shot within an hour post ride, you feel pretty good within an hour after consumption, but the next day is when you truly notice the difference. And that's been the game changer for a lot of our elite athletes and general users. So instead of reaching for ibuprofen, which you would normally do, people are reaching for this because it's a plant-based version essentially of ibuprofen.
Okay, so it does reduce inflammation then.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. Now, I happen to have a traumatic brain injury. Are there any benefits for me to use it outside of recovery, or do you happen to know of any that might help? I have a myriad of symptoms that come from my injury.
Yeah, I mean, I too suffer from a TBI from a 2013 concussion from a bike accident. Over the past 4 years of using CBD, it's helped me contain a calmer mindset and not knowing all of your symptoms. But for me, I would go through mood swings like a roller coaster ride. Some days it'd be super high, and then other days I'd be get really depressed and wouldn't want to do anything except, sit on the couch and not go to the office. And after taking CBD, anecdotally, and with the guidance of my primary care physician who knows that I've been taking this, he's been telling me if it's working, stay on it. And for me and my wife, I've noticed that my moods are more stable, my swings are less dramatic in the roller coaster ride, and overall, my outlook is a lot more positive than it was in the past. Um, for regarding TBIs as a whole, too, again, it's case by case and how you are physiologically, but it's one of the topics we're going to discuss today with Ian Boswell, who's a friend of mine, and on our live stream. He crashed out of essentially the world tour last year and he had a severe concussion, and now he has a TBI. And he's found CBD to help him regain motor control between eye-hand coordination. So his recovery was much slower, and it's helped him balance things out a little bit, he said, in that case. And we'll talk about that later today around 1 o'clock Mountain Time when we go live with Ian.
Okay. Now, what future products can we expect to see from you guys?
From us, we have a couple of things in the pipeline. Even given this crazy time, it's actually been a blessing to allow us to slow down on doing lots of sales swings and events, and we've been concentrating on new products, and some of them are modifications to our existing formulations, like our daily products. We're looking at two applications, like a morning and a nighttime version. We've listened to our consumers and fans, and we're going to look at rolling out some capsules instead of just a tincture, and more because it's a easy use product for many people. Instead of like squirting something under your tongue, you would just have, what you're probably used to seeing is a capsule, like a gel cap that you would swallow with water on its own. So we have those in the pipeline.
Okay. Now, do you have any problems selling and shipping to all the states, or are you good there?
No, we have no issues shipping to all 50 states. We've shipped to numerous countries. Due to COVID, we hit the pause button on shipping overseas because we've had lots of lost packages due to the influx in U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, UPS that are all going through their own, issues with COVID and the pandemic. So for now, we've just concentrated on the U.S. shipping.
Okay. Now, how do you expect this post-COVID and recession we will be going through to shape your business? And how has the loss of so far some of the season, possibly more, affected you guys?
Yeah, I think it's not just affected us, it's affected a bunch of CBD companies and endurance companies out there. And for me, we've been really nimble in looking at ways to pivot and do more stuff online, hence the creation of the Connected Project and trying to take going to events to now creating our own events, looking at doing things more virtually, looking at traditional advertising versus in-person advertising. Yeah, it'll affect the bottom dollar, but I think overall it'll make us more resilient for what's to come in the future.
Okay. John, that's all the questions I have. I'd like to turn this over to you to see if you had anything you wanted to say, or if there was anything you wanted to ask me. It's all yours.
Oh man, well, I think we got introduced because you had mentioned that you had tried the product, and that was the recovery shot, correct?
Yeah. One of your
And then,
ambassadors sent me some of them.
yep. And what did you notice from consuming it?
Uh, I felt better the next day versus, I mean, doing like, for instance, we used to, in our house, we have the Beachbody Recover. I felt a little bit better than, doing that. And that's strictly more of a protein based kind of recover. So it's different ways of targeting it. But I
Yep.
felt, I guess, a little bit, you could say that kind of pap in your step, a little bit more spryness to myself.
Mhm. Yep. And that was after just consuming one bottle. Do you sleep with a smartwatch? Did you notice any increase in your quality of sleep?
My sleep is all messed up from the TBI. There's no way you're going to be able to measure that with a fair assessment. I mean, there are some days where
Yep.
I'll sleep 10 to 15 hours. There's other times where I'm up all night. You never know.
Yeah. And then how long has it been since or when did a TBI occur?
October 5th, 2017.
Okay, so you're a
Two and a
couple
half
years
years.
into recovery. Yep. Um, to what extent, and you don't have to get too into it, but to what extent have you done for PT? Like, have you had to do occupational therapy and everything else for?
Yes, I have to do some vision therapy still. My depth perception never recovered so far. Um, I've done, uh, I've worked on balance, convergence. Um, I've done pretty much all the therapies you can. I actually have my H wave on that's doing electrical impulses to help with my headaches. Um, because I can even put it on my jaw. Like, yeah, go ahead. All right, I mean, if you say so. So,
Hmm.
I mean, I could. They said, pro athletes use it everywhere on their body. They said Kobe Bryant in the 2009 playoffs, he had one here, one in his palm to control the inflammation on his broken finger. So, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm down. So, yeah, I've
Um,
been through all different types of therapies and different ways to control things.
yeah. And then have you tried CBD as an added supplement or not yet?
I have the tincture with the dropper. Uh, I mean, I take it most days. So,
Yeah. I think, and that's for me in educating consumers, the trick to remember, or not even a trick, but is to take it on a regular basis because we are deficient in CBD. That's what we're trying to do is replace what we're deficient in, just like a vitamin supplement like iron. So I always tell people it's a very intimate part of your day in your homeostasis and even your well-being. No different than brushing your teeth. You want to do it daily, so leave it by your toothbrush, and you'll have a remembrance to consume it. And to help get a better understanding for how you feel individually, I say take the recommended dosage for 7 days, not just ours, but any brand. And you should notice a difference within 7 days. After 7 days, don't take the product for 3. In those 3 days, you'll pretty much revert back to where you were before taking CBD, and you will notice the difference stress wise, anxiety wise, mental capacity, mood swings, sleep quality. And that for me is the proof in the pudding, which then enables you to go back on it and see the benefit and continue on the daily consumption.
Okay. Definitely. I will
So
give that a try.
I would say try with not knowing the brand you have, but try it with what you have. And then if you don't sleep with a smartwatch, just on a daily basis when you wake up, just write like a 2-sentence, yeah, so you do. Or just write 2 sentences down to be like, hey, I slept like crap tonight, or I feel pretty good today, or I had no anxiety moments. Try that.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely will.
So, and that's the thing that people don't understand. It's not a one size fits most. It's because we're all individualized, we have to experiment with a plant-based product. No different than your sports hydration when you're doing Ironmans or any other activity. You sweat more than I do, so you're going to consume more electrolytes than I do during a race to replenish what that loss is. So same concept for CBD.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, Jon.
Nice. Thank you very much. Appreciate your perseverance and sticking with me during my crazy reschedulings of days.
I'm just glad we can get it in.
So yeah, keep in touch. Let me know how things are going. If you want to try the daily, I'll get some to you if you want to experiment with ours.
I mean, sure, I'd love to if you want to send me some. Hey, do you think Ian would want to talk with me about his TBI? I'd love to get his opinions on, how he feels, how it's affected him since he was he was a pro cyclist.
Yep. Yeah, no, I will happily mention it to him when we chat, and I'll just be like, hey, I have someone else who wants to talk to you about recovering from TBIs. So something that we have in common besides now him being a New Englander. We've known each other since 2012.
I'm a
But
Midwesterner. We love our ranch.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with a good ranch. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I'll ping him and I'll send you guys an email introduction, and you can take it from there.
great. Thanks again,
So
Jon. Good luck with your day.
appreciate it. Thanks, man. You have a good one.